Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. There has been a lot of talk about Roland boutiques lately, and I'm looking forward to the first member of this product family that seems to be an actual improvement over the original, at least when it comes to the UI. Until then, we are going to work with what we have, in this case the TR-08. This 2018 drum machine was Roland's second recent attempt to resurrect its former 808 glory. While the 2014 Beetlejuice Miss Argentina who ran out of hair dye colored Ira TR-8 is almost as big and bulky as the original, the TR-08 seems almost comically small. Roland, finding middle ground since 1972. Like any piece of Roland gear, the TR-08 is ticking all the boxes. An almost faithful miniaturized recreation of the 80s legend with 3 additional buttons, an old-school display and a trigger output for giving external retro-style sequences a little push. The sequencer buttons and drum voice controls got the signature paint job, but it feels kind of ridiculous to operate them even if you have small hands like me. The other controls are great though. Not so great the rear panel. I might sound like the 40-year-old boomer that I am, but I will probably never get used to a single mini jack stereo output on a full-fledged drum machine. Potentially noise-inducing micro USB for power supply and multiple outputs only when used as a sound card might be a deal breaker too. However, Roland's digital ACB technology provides some nice classic 808 sounds. The kick kicks, the snare snares, the toms and congers remind us of times when being hung over on a Tuesday was socially acceptable. Claves, maracas, an addictive cowbell. The clap and rim shot are really nice. And there's nothing wrong with the cymbal and hi-hats. All this vintage drum machine goodness is triggered by a similarly vintage style but powerful sequencer. The 16 steps can be expanded to a maximum of 32 by adding a second part, boosted to 64 using variations, and 2 fill-ins can be inserted manually or automatically. As is of course tradition, I will neglect the song mode-like rhythm track functionality. A second layer of parameters can be reached with a modest amount of menu diving. A compressor for kick and snare that does absolutely nothing but make stuff louder, gain, additional tune and decay parameters I would have liked to see on the front panel, a long decay mode for the bass drum, copy-paste of patterns is nice, the sequencer can be switched to a more 909-like workflow, and there's a special mode for panning instruments hard left-right. Holding the menu button while programming patterns inserts a backbeat. Cool. In spite of the model railroad looks of the TR-08, the build quality is sturdy. As a boutique family member, it can be powered using batteries. The built-in speaker is ideal for these boomy 808 monster kicks. And I want to thank Matthews of Groovebagasch Soundsystem for lending me this drum machine. TR-08s are still available new for around $400, and if you don't have a great sound system crew to borrow gear from, you might wanna get one from Perfect Circuit. It is a mystery to me how the remake of a classic drum machine can be so close to the original and yet so different. Can it provide the true 808 feel? You have already heard the TR-08 in today's intro tune. Sorry, I got carried away by the funky and extra dry snare. In the name of consistency, there can only be one sparring partner in the first jam. That sounds really nice. Still, I'm not sure if there is a more carpal tunnel syndrome inducing way of implementing mutes and solos. Sure, the OG808 doesn't have dedicated mute buttons either, but you can use its multiple outs to mitigate this problem. Talking of which, the TR-08 offers discrete outputs only over USB. Let's turn my old MacBook into a glorified through box and hook it up to an analog mixer for this drum machine solo. This is much more convenient to play, but I'm not sure if I would want to use that contraption live. A dedicated USB to analog converter for the boutique range would be a great thing.
Dream on.
Using the TR-08's slightly enhanced retro interface is okay, but I really wanna know how well the drum machine performs when hooked up to my main computer in this robo-bass subwoofer benchmark retro high-tech UK juke house friendly electronica takeover. Verdict: the Roland TR-08 is maybe the most beautiful and, at the same time, least practical instrument of the boutique line. It sounds great right out of the box and the vintage design looks awesome, but at least for me it doesn't do the trick for live performance and music production. Sure, the sequencer offers some nice tools for jamming, but real-time pattern creation and improvisation are not very convenient. Moreover, we have grown accustomed to 808 sounds that would be almost impossible to create with the original machine. Trap hi-hats, perfectly tuned kick drum bass lines and pitch modulation of the snare are certainly not authentic, but it would have been easy to implement them into a digital instrument like the TR-08. Over the recent years, Roland gave us two new original 808-ish drum machines that I would consider perfect bad gear material. They are almost great, but not quite. Keep them coming. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.